Mirai stood at the top of the building for his middle school graduation, but his thoughts was shrouded with darkness. After experiencing unhappiness in his life, he resolved to embrace the earth. He attempted a somersault into the cement but was rescued by an angel, leading him to believe he was carried to heaven. The angel, Naze, introduced herself and expressed gratitude for preventing him from becoming a pancake. Mirai tries to accept this reality and notices his reflection in the glass. After his brother and dad died 7 years ago, he had given up on being transformed into a flat pancake. When he was taken in by his aunt and uncle, he observed his parents spending time with their children while he was locked up in the garbage room. He became a tool for them, sleeping alone in the room every day, trembling. Naze, a special rank angel, saved his life when he had lost hope. She has the ability to provide him with whatever he desires, including love and freedom. Mirai believes he has reached nirvana after consuming old food or falling to the ground, but the angel advises him to begin with freedom. After being a slave his entire life, he is given wings to soar and experience freedom in the world. If he desires love, she can conjure a magical crystal arrow that quickly makes the target fall in love with him. She may offer him either the wings or the arrows as his final salvation. Mirai refuses to pick, so she must give him both options. Naze expresses her willingness and explains that it is customary to give him the option of selecting one. Mirai wants to return to embracing the earth, but Naze uses magical circles to provide him with an armband and necklace. Angels can only be seen by those who have them, thus he doesn't need to be concerned. His life will continue until a new deity is selected, but she encourages him to attempt flying right away. With a single thought, he can create wings from thin air and soar at high speeds. He fights to manage his speed through the clouds, but ultimately makes it above them to watch the sunset. He cried after spending the entire night flying and finding it more magnificent than he could have dreamed. Upon returning to the city, he believes there is still chance for survival. Today was St. Patrick's Day in Tokyo, and he recalled handing a 4-leaf clover to his boyhood sweetheart. While sitting and gazing at the sky, Naze returns and offers him the ability to steal anything he desires with his super speed. With the arrow, he can make anybody fall in love with him and do anything. Mirai questions how she can call herself an angel while she preaches the behaviors of a devil. However, Naze explains that devils do not exist. They reside in the hearts of bad individuals, such as his uncle and aunt, who have committed murder. Mirai's aunt and uncle were responsible for his parents' deaths. He had been tormented and treated as if he were a slave. Mirai questions the angel's accusation that they slaughtered his family. Naze instructs him to use the arrow to find out for himself. When he returns home, his aunt requests that he leave the entryway immediately. Mirai wants to ask her a question, but she urges him to shut up and hurry up. He uses his arm to apply white liquid on her chest. Sorry, I meant to shoot an arrow precisely into her chest. When his aunt wakes up, she rushes towards him, ready to build a scheme with her huge guns. But Mirai pulls her away. When asked if they were responsible for ending his family, she breaks down and blames her husband. When his uncle enters the room and finds his wife weeping, she tells him everything. Her husband, who rigged the automobile to blow up in order to take his family's riches, recalls the incident vividly. His parents had gone to drive his brother to school, and he was going to prepare his assignment. However, when his father started the automobile, it exploded. As they continue to wrestle, his wife explains that it was all for insurance money. Mirai regrets their actions for money and believes they should have died instead. After hearing this, his aunt became curious about nirvana. Naze discusses the power of his red arrow. If a person has earned the right to meet the Buddha, they will be summoned by him. He falls, understanding how easily people may die. Despite his mother's death, he is still alive and recalls her memories. When he showed his family photo to his mother, she encouraged him to pursue a happy life, recognizing that everyone strives for happiness. Mirai realized the need of perseverance in achieving happiness, and the angel agreed with him. She's here to help him find happiness. She ultimately identifies herself as Naze, and promises to be his personal angel. A few days later, Mirai is sitting in the hotel. He couldn't afford a hotel and used the arrow to convince the staff to let him remain here. Even if he could steal everything with this ability, it wouldn't bring him happiness. To achieve a normal level of happiness, he must first generate income. Naze advises him to halt his uncles and their children's exploitation of him. Mirai can't bear the gore like before, so he uses the second white arrow she gave him. She explains why the white arrow has the ability to murder people quietly. God's efforts to improve the world have left him feeble. Naze was pleased to see Mirai joyful after appointing 13 angels to select a suitable person to serve as the next deity. They had a 999-day time constraint and started off. What exactly is Mirai Nikki up to? After hearing all of this, Mirai, wait, his fucking name is Mirai. On TV, he watches a person being pursued by an angel and realizes he has tricked 5 women into loving him. Mirai inquires about arrow safety, and Naze explains the restrictions. The only way to evade an arrow is to fly faster with the wings. Red arrows have a 33-day duration and a maximum of 1 shot per individual. A maximum of 14 arrows can be shot during 33 days, which is likely what the individual on TV accomplished. Inside a vehicle, story develops excessively. They begged him for a protein shake. As he enjoys his life, someone dressed in Mega Man armor opens the vehicle door and shoots him with a white arrow, causing him to die instantaneously. He uses his red arrow to fly away. Mirai learns about the man's death the next day, and the angel returns his body to heaven. Luda, the angel carrying him, is relieved that the victim died. While strolling around the city, Naze congratulates him on getting into his top high school and admires his intelligence for shooting his uncle with a red arrow to confess. She attempts to cheer him up, but finds he's snorting sadness instead of copium. She wonders why he's not as joyful as he might be. He expresses fear about the death of the other deity contender. A bank heist occurs in the city center, but Superman emerges to rescue the day as Metropolitan. What a fucking name. He flies over the cops and shoots them with red arrows, claiming to be coming to rescue the day. He confronts and approaches the offender, then vanishes to prevent them from using their weapon. He shoots the criminal with the red arrow, and he agrees to surrender himself in. The protagonist's buddy tries to kill Metropolitan, but accidentally shoots himself. The criminal shoots a shotgun, but Metropolitan evades the shots, preparing a white arrow to finish him out. When Naze finds his angel is of a particular rank, Metropolitan informs him that he is targeted by 12 foes. After defeating one, he proclaims on television that he will to eliminate the remaining 11. Mirai orders Naze to disappear before Metropolitan notices her. He attempts to blend in with the crowd before heading home. Later that day, he requests that Naze withdraw his god candidate status. Although she rescued his life, he does not want to be slain by Metropolitan. However, she reveals that taking away his arrow and wings will result in his death. He only received his wings and arrow after giving up on everything else. It was God's order to pick only those who were willing to give up on life. She informs him that exceptional angels provide wings, red and white arrows, while first ranks provide both wings and arrows, and second ranks only provide wings or arrows. However, an angel's rank might change at any time, leaving Mirai wondering what to do. The following day, Naze instructs him to kill his childhood crush, Saki, with a crimson arrow before leaving for school. Mirai refuses to utilize the arrow to make her fall in love within the 33-day period. On his first day of school, he anticipates a new beginning, but an angel comes in the sky. Despite his trepidation, he attempts to ignore the reality of the situation. Mirai is taken aback by the angel's sudden disappearance. Mirai's reply verifies his status as a god candidate, since he can see the angel. The angel then reveals that his god candidate is standing behind him. When he sees Saki, she shoots him with her crimson arrow. Despite being shot by an arrow, he remains in love with Saki. But the arrow's strength forces him to confess. When she informs him her parents aren't home, he rushes straight to her house. He waits in her room till she appears. Saki asks whether he has white arrows, and he admits he does. The angel expresses concern over being considered a Metropolitan, but clarifies that he is not. Revel, the angel, tries to explain why he shot him with an arrow. He wants to take on Saki's wings, as she currently lacks any. Marai accepts to become her wings, and they make a vow by holding hands together. The simp climaxes, forming a link around their hands. After hugging her from behind and climaxing, he quickly leaves before she notices. Marai recalls their childhood memories as they ride over the skies together. He lifts her beyond the skies and asks her to let him know if anything bothers her, as he would always be there for her. Saki explains that it's a personal issue and she'll be okay. She expresses gratitude for the conversation and sheds tears. Saki eventually learns that Metropolitan would appear on a TV station at 6 p.m. The angel informs Metropolitan that if he lives, he would kill Saki. Saki's red arrow motivates him to locate him. He declares that if necessary, he will sacrifice himself for Saki. However, Nace appears and warns him not to be so impulsive. Revel, the angel of mischief, most likely planned this. If he dies, his wings and arrow will go to Saki. If Metropolitan perished, the arrow would have forced him to give Saki the wings and arrows as well. Either way, Revel would have won. Revel's evil plan makes her a second-rank angel, whereas Nace's purity elevates her to the exceptional level. Revel admits he was attempting to set them up, but offers to forge a ceasefire for their mutual success. He is concerned about Marai's conduct when the arrow wears off, but Nace tells him that Marai climaxes to Saki at least once daily. After a month of spending time together, Revel becomes scared out and ties Marai to a chair to prevent him from harming Saki. Marai is not furious with Saki for shooting Revel since it allows him to express his actual sentiments, which he recognizes as necessary. He is determined not to let Metropolitan undermine his happiness with Saki, who shares his desire for happiness. Marai notices her flushing and the angel wonders whether he is still affected by the arrow. He can't quit climaxing. During a news broadcast, Metropolitan requests that all other candidates join him in reaching a peaceful resolution. At the baseball park, he will be waiting for the other candidates. Marai questions how non-Japanese people might fly without wings, but Nace clarifies that all god aspirants are from Japan due to the popularity of seeing the Buddha there. Marai attempts to come up with an offensive strategy. The following day, Marai notices angels flying over the stadium and wonders how many god aspirants would attend. Saki urges him to quit watching before the angels see him. Marai prepares to shoot Metropolitan with a crimson arrow. At 3 p.m., Metropolitan comes on the field, followed by yellow and blue Power Rangers with red arrows and wings. When they shoot the red arrow at Metropolitan, it fails to penetrate, revealing that it was actually a trap. This might be a random individual shot with arrows and dropped to attract other god hopefuls. They hope that summoning Metropolitan will improve their situation. One individual recalls being disappointed by the results of their admission exam. As he sat alone, another man approached, grieving over his own rejection. He had failed once, but the person with the green shirt had failed 3 times already. Before hugging the ground, they determined to cherish every single minute of their lives. As the last train approached, angels arrived and handed them arrows and wings. They swore to succeed and improve their lives by understanding the laws and government better than others. A god candidate can only shoot an arrow every 2 seconds with a range of 31.6 meters, making this baseball field ideal for an attack. Nas and Revel were unaware of the arrow's particular range. Finally, the screen displays Metropolitan's face. He confirms that the Metropolitan in front of them is a fake and displays his red and white arrows. He explains that he can fire arrows every 0.3 seconds instead of 2 seconds because he has 2 of them. As he bids them farewell, the guys detain his phony duplicate. A girl flies in the skies and asks the other 2 to take her along since she is afraid of Metropolitan. Saki, who has been bullied her entire life, does not want to die. Mirai recognizes that Saki may also be dealing with personal issues. Despite allowing them to shoot her with a red arrow, Metropolitan shoots her and warns them not to hesitate. He departs again and pledges to get rid of them because they were so sluggish. The guys attempt to establish a coalition with other god candidates, promising to work together to defeat Metropolitan. A pink and green Power Ranger unexpectedly entered the conversation room. They create an alliance by shooting green and pink Power Rangers with red arrows. However, while they are busy, something changes with Metropolitan behind them. The speaker announces that Metro 5's super civilization team has formed. Although they believe they have a numerical edge, Mirai suspects something is not right. When asked to show their arrows, the two Power Rangers declare they don't recognize them. The large screen returns, and Metropoliman attempts to talk, but reveals that he is not the real Metropoliman. The actual one is behind them, and he prepares two arrows to shoot at them. The white arrow knocks out the blue Power Ranger, but the red arrow hits the yellow one squarely. The yellow one has become a servant of Metropoliman and inquires about how this happened. Metropoliman admits that green and pink were merely humans who were obeying him to divert them from his position. Yellow questions how they were shot with red arrows. Metropoliman demonstrates his ability to manipulate people without using red arrows and his ability to use money to achieve any goal. He tells the angel to hand up the wings and arrows before leaving. He now has 4 arrows and 2 wings. For the show's spectacle, he ties up Power Ranger Yellow with the female and tests the boundaries of the red arrow. Yellow agrees to do everything, but then Metropoliman orders him to die. Yellow defies the instruction, so Metropoliman points a white arrow at him. Yellow attempts to fly for his life, but the constraints prevent him from moving. Metropoliman shoots the white arrow, and Yellow enters paradise. Next comes the girl, and Revel is concerned that Mirai may intervene. He struggles to decide what to do in this predicament, knowing that any hesitation might lead to his and Saki's death. The angel attempts to prevent Metropoliman from shooting the girl, prompting her to call for assistance. Metropoliman continues to prod the other god aspirants to respond. Watch the next video, and until next time, my fellow famous narrative masters.